Namaskaram. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. So far we have seen 24 steps Adi Shankara has taken by holding our hands. He is a great master, great guru. And he is the one who has got enough and tremendous amount of patience. Even though we walk very slowly, he comes along with us and he waits for our, our every step to move forward. He is not a master in a hurry, but he is the one who waits for the result. He's like a great doctor. Normally, you go to your doctor, or a doctor comes to you when you give an SOS call. But the great Acharya Adi Shankara, he is more than a doctor. He knocks at your door and he tells, come on, wake up, wake up. The time has come. And through this Sadhana Panchakam, he has given a prescription for all of us. And this prescription is not like a normal doctor's prescription. It is meant for 3 days or 5 days. You have to take it like that. But this prescription is lifelong prescription where he gives you the freedom to choose. Even though we have got our essential nature is freedom from all wants and desires, freedom from births and deaths. That is our real nature. Even though we have not understood that real freedom, we have taken into consideration freedom is something which is enabling us to move anywhere, everywhere as we like. Wherever the mind takes us, we go. We think that that is the freedom. Wherever the sense organs drive us, we think that that is the freedom. But the real freedom, Adi Shankara says, is not that. To know yourself, and for that you should have a desire to know the Atma. Atma Jnanam is very, very important. He gives you the medicine. He prescribes 40 capsules, we can say, and you can take it at any time. It is for you to decide whether you can take the next tablet or you can go to the next step, move forward. So far, he has said, Vedo Nityam Adhiyadam, he started. Then he has said, added to that, do your action. Don't be lazy. Keep doing your work, but you offer your action. Slowly, he tells you. Then he tells, you offer the fruits of your action. Because he knows the difficulties. You just like that, one day you cannot drop all your action, drop all your fruits of action, or you cannot just like that reform by doing action without any desire for fruits of action. He knows all our nature. So he says that do your action, don't leave your action. All your action that you have to do is offer to the Lord. Then he says, you leave the fruits of action to the Lord. Then he slowly says, don't act for the sake of acting. You should be independent of fruits of action. Then he suggests you various remedies. He says, you be with jnanis, you get into satsang or discussion discuss with intellects whose desire is to cross the bonds of birth and deaths. Then slowly he comes and takes us to the place, and in the fourth verse onwards, he tells you how you should do it. All along he has been telling that you do this, you do that, you have to follow this, and have to gain various knowledge, you should have certain qualities to pick up on the way so that you can come to the 40th step very easily. So in the 25th step, he says that Shukvyadisha Chikitsyadham. He is giving a Chikitsyadham. That is, we need to have a medicine or we need to have a treatment. What is the treatment he is suggesting? We need to have a treatment. What is that? Vyadhi, he talks about we have already we need a treatment for the ailments affecting our body. That is, nobody can deny that. Because unless body is there, unless body is in a good condition, we cannot move ahead in our spiritual life. Body is a tool, no doubt about it. But he says the greatest disease is hunger. Hunger is the greatest disease. Nobody can avoid this. Anybody and everybody has this every day, morning, afternoon, evening. We have this disease called hunger. And this hunger has to be cured. Other than the normal disease which are afflicting our body, this hunger is the disease which we have to take care of. The great poet Bharti said that if even one person he doesn't have a food in this world, I will destroy this world, like this, he said. On the other hand, the great Ramalinga Vallalar said, whenever I see the paddy getting dried up without water or without dried up for want of water, he said that he felt so bad about it. He felt so, he was so much upset by seeing that whenever the paddy droops down for want of water. And there are great kings in our country who had given his chariot on seeing the creeper falling on the road for want of a stick or a stand to move forward. So that is our great country. So this food is a disease and which cannot be just like that removed. All cannot live with armful of paddy or armful of puffed rice like Mahaswamigal. All cannot lead a life like Sadashiva Brahmendra, who lived without having a food. Great Ravana Magrishi was in Tiruvannamalai Mandapam, where he was there without food for almost 8 to 9 months, and he was in Padala Ganga, where Shiva was there. Is there even today? You can see that Padala Ganga Shiva. There he was meditating without food. All cannot win over food. Food and sleep are two important things which we need in our life. So Adi Shankara says that hunger is a disease. Let us cure it. Then how we will do it? He says that Prati Dhinam Bhiksho Kshatam Pujita. How we will do it? We will take Bhiksha and eat food in order to cure the disease called hunger. But it is not that we should have a feast. When we mean that we should eat, hunger is a disease. This disease should not be cured by having a feast every day. For any disease of the body, we take a medicine, a pinch of medicine. The medicine is not like a food we eat. Medicine is a small tablet or a pinch of homeopathic medicine we take, or Ayurvedic medicine, a spoon of liquid we take in order to cure the disease afflicting our body. But Adi Shankara says that disease, the hunger is a disease that you have to cure it every day by taking bhiksha. This amazing concept, because we are not living our life as dictated by body. Yes, body is there. We cannot get rid of our body as long as we are alive. We need to eat, but how we should live, how we should lead a life, because even though body is very essential, we cannot go beyond our body. Body every day, it tells you, oh, this is time 8 o'clock, morning breakfast we have to eat. Now this is 2 o'clock, this is our lunch time. And at 4:30, the clock ticks, the coffee time. This is morning. I cannot live in the morning, get up in the morning without having a cup of coffee. The vasana for coffee is very powerful. As soon as we get up and brush our teeth, the first thing which we demand is coffee. Is coffee ready? On the contrary, we order, chalo, get me a cup of coffee. We would like to have a bit coffee, because we are dictated by our body, the desires of the body. We don't even feel like getting up from the bed in order to have a cup of coffee. We take the liberty of asking our mother, chalo, Amma, why don't you get the coffee to my room? That is our speciality. But Adi Shankara says, no. Hunger is a disease. We have a bhiksha. That is why Adi Shankaracharya went for bhiksha. He knew. He took, when he went out after his Upanayana for a bhiksha, he saw a woman with a dried amla fruit. On seeing a bright face, Adi Shankara, a small boy, she was ashamed of her poverty, and she thought that she should give this dried amla fruit by keeping her head down. She was a little bit ashamed of giving this to this great, brilliant boy who was shining, whose face was shining off because of tapas, even at those small young age. But Adi Shankara didn't see that it is only amla fruit. He saw the generous way of giving fruit by the mother, who refused to eat for herself, which alone was there at home. And Adi Shankara never demanded any fruit, anything more than that amla fruit. Whatever was given to him by that great mother, he accepted this. He never demanded this. Because even at that age, he was able to realize this body cannot demand anything. As if you allow this body to demand, then you and I become slaves of the body. That is the reason why Adi Shankara, so beautifully, he never complained about the amla food. On the contrary, he felt, oh, what a great lady she is. Even though it was only one amla which was there, that too was dried. That too, it was only for her which was kept for her to eat. Whenever she felt hungry, she thought she should eat this and cure her disease called hunger. Perhaps Adi Shankara must have, while writing this, he must have realized that it is better to eat only to cure the disease called hunger. When he wrote this step, he must have thought about the incident when he went for a bhiksha near his house. So we have to eat in such a way that food is only a medicine. That is the reason why normally they take 3 arms. Or we heard that Mahaswamigal eat only a puffed rice. And before we eat, Mahaswamigal, Kanchi Paramacharya used to say, before you start cooking, you take a handful of rice and keep it separately. Pidiyarsitam it is called. Give it to people. If you can't, come and give it to Kanchipuram or wherever you go, whichever temple you go, that handful of rice can be given to the temple. You collect it over a period of month or 2 or whatever it is, or whenever you go to a temple near your locality, at that point of time, you can give it as annadhanam for the people. This can be given as and when it is necessary. This can be distributed as a prasadam. The purpose of having this pidiyar siddhitam, handful of rice, to keep it aside, is only to remember not only that annadhanam is very, very important. It is so sacred duty for us to offer food to the people. At the same time, we should remember that this handful of rice, we not only keep it for others, we should have only to that extent treat our body, and we should have only that much of rice which is necessary for us to live. It may not be practically possible whenever, especially when the children are growing, but especially people like us, the grown up person like me, can lead a life, look upon food as a medicine, and we can control our body before the body controls us. If we allow the body to control us, then we will be controlled by the medicine instead of real food. If we start treating food as a medicine to control the body, otherwise the doctors will take care of our body, and the doctors will say you have this medicine before you take food, or you have this medicine after taking the food. So food should be eaten like a medicine. It was told that one of the Swamiji, one of the saint from Manjakudi, he was going for a bhiksha every day to somebody's house. When he went to a house on the first day, they offered him pahaka, that is called karela. This Swamiji, he doesn't like karela, this pahakai vegetable. So as soon as it was offered, after rituals and all, he started eating that karela. Chalo, let me eat first karela so that I don't like to see this karela on my plate, on my plantain leaves. But the people, what happened at home, the host of Swamiji thought that the Swamiji likes karela, pahakai very much. So they started serving this karela, pahakai, nabandan. Then Swamiji realized, my God, what the perception the people have when I started eating karela, pahakai. as soon as it was served, and I started eating it. The people thought that the host thought that this Swamiji likes Karela. On the next day, the Swamiji was to go to somebody's house. The host of that house asked the previous host what Swamiji likes. Then the first host said that the Swamiji likes Karela, Pakaka very much. So it happened. It led to a situation where all the 10 days, the Karela was served. Even when we give a perception that I like this vegetable, I like that fruit, I like this type of combination of sambar, rasam, or whatever it is, dish, the people create an impression and impose upon you what they like that you should have. Even liking of the food becomes a shackle, or it becomes a type of slavery. So we had to be very careful. That's why Adi Shankara says that we should eat food by taking bhiksha, and like a medicine, we have to eat, not for the sake of taste. Because even though body needs food, and hunger is a disease, hunger happens every day. As long as we are alive, the hunger is going to happen. If we look upon this hunger as an indicator, parameter for our body to grow, then this body will take care of us as an individual, and we have to be a slave of the body in the sense that we become the slave of the taste of the tongue. That is the reason why we always be very careful with the tongue, not only in terms of taste, but also in terms of speaking. If we can control the tongue, we can solve most of our problems, because tongue is the one which takes you for a ride. And wherever food is there, it acts through the nose to smell the fruits, smell the food. Even at home, we can see, sometime when we are sitting at home, we get the smell of a coffee, filtered coffee. Then immediately tell at home, oh, excellent smell of the filter coffee comes. Why don't we have a coffee? Sometimes we get the smell of a rasam or good sambar when it is prepared in our neighbor's house. So we are driven by the food. What is the first tool for the food is, even though the body needs food, the first tool for the food is the tongue. The tongue controls us through food, and how it makes you slave. It makes you as a slave through nose. It takes a route outside. It is an invisible route. The smell comes from various directions. When that smell comes, when the coffee smell comes from the neighborhood, you just out of curiosity wanted to know in which house you come out. You try to have a feast for your eyes. Now in the Thanksgiving ceremony, which is there in US now, everybody wants to give a treat. They want to have a treat for themselves and treat others too. The smell of the cookies is so amazing. And the way in which is it designed, it takes your eyes, it controls, you are controlled by the eyes and you are controlled by the smell. And when eyes or nose are controlled by the beautiful color of the cookies, you are taken for a ride. The tongue, in order to taste, it uses the nose and the eyes as a tool to taste for itself. And afterwards, the tongue controls the body. And you and I think that I'm the body, so I have to enrich myself with the food as demanded by the tongue. So Adi Shankara says that this is a great challenge, especially people like me, sitting at home, seeing all types of food and no work to do. It is a great challenge. So Shankara has warned us, please, you treat food as a medicine and you eat medicine not in bunch, you eat medicine as a small dose. So your food should be like a medicine. Then not only he suggests that, then he says that swat vandam natu yachyadam. Swat, we not only need, we want healthy food. That's what everywhere publicity is being given. But Adi Shankara says that you don't go in search of tasty food. First, you are driven by the smell, then you are driven by the eyes. Then the tongue takes you to the place where the beautiful coffee smell comes. You go to the kitchen and you see the color of the coffee, filter coffee, so beautiful it is. The foam which comes at the top of the tumbler, you are tempted. Then you would like to taste the coffee. Sometimes you say that there is no sugar, you need more sugar. And even if you are told you don't have a coffee with so much of jaggery or a sugar, your tongue demands no. Shankara says that no. Swat vantam natu yachyadam. Don't demand taste. Whatever is given, accept the food as it is. Don't complain. Yes, somebody will say that sambar, there is no chili. Rasam, there is no salt. Or vegetable is not properly cooked. Okay, when guests come, offer them good food. But as an individual, you don't demand that the taste should be like this. It should be fried properly. It should roast properly. It should look properly, beautifully. No, because demanding tasty food is another way of making you a slave. You have over here in many places take home, take home, and they come and deliveries also at home. And they first, when you offer it, when you place an order through app, they say that I will give you a discount. When you go there, there's a facility for you to take food immediately. When you ring up and go there, they immediately keep it ready. These are all very tempting ways of making you a slave of your tongue, all in various names and forms and colors. Everything looks beautiful. Whatever beautiful need not be good for your health. Whatever tasty need not be good for your health. Whatever is beautiful to the eyes, whatever is nice to smell, and whatever is tasty to the tongue, perhaps afterwards we will be controlled by the medicine. That is the reason why Shankara says that you take food as a bhiksha. Perhaps in the olden days, I still remember when I was a child, we used to have food. Mother used to sit, or grandmother used to sit. All of us, we a family of 20, we used to sit. Some 7, 8 of our cousins and brothers, we used to sit together. Party, our grandmother used to give food in our hand. Perhaps it is a type of a bhiksha. The food was tasty, but we never had too much of food. Once the vessel is empty, 7, 8 of us shared that food. And this is a different type of controlling our tongue, even though it was a very tasty. We never had too much of food. We had a tasty food, but the food was measured and controlled. Perhaps this is another way of seeing that our tongue is controlled. Not only that, early in the morning, before we go to school, we take the previous day's food soaked in water, rice soaked in water, and next day it is mixed with the buttermilk and it is given on the next day morning. Food is one way of not only controlling our tongue, taking care of our health, and also it is being said, especially in various Veda Padasalas, if you go there, they are given not a heavy breakfast or a tasty meal or tasty cookies, they are not given. They are given a light food. Normally, a previous day's rice, annam soaked in water the previous day, and next day morning it is given. So he says, don't demand food which is tasty. First of all, you have to eat food only like a medicine. And you cannot expect medicine to be sweet. Medicine will always be not tasty. It is not for your tongue. That is the reason why for children, when they want to take a medicine, they have got a little bit of honey is mixed. Perhaps in Ayurvedic, whenever medicine is given, normally it is in the form of a legume or it is mixed with honey. Even in those days when children were given medicine, the powdered medicine used to be given mixed with honey. So medicine is always not a tasty one because only when it is not tasty, it has an effect on your body. It cures your disease. So when you take food as a medicine, like a medicine, your body will be under your control. Okay, that's why he says that swatvantam natu yachyatam. So don't go in search of tasty food. Then he says that vidhi vachat praptena sandusyatam. Vidhi vachat. Whatever you are destined to get, eat that. Because when all these Vidyarthis or bhikshus or sannyasis, they go in search of food. Whatever is given, they take. They don't demand anything. Don't demand anything. When you go, especially when we go to various mutts, when we go to meet acharyas, wherever food is available, whatever is there, let us not demand. Let us eat whatever is there. Whatever is destined we are to get, we will eat. Let us not demand anything. There is a great story about Gautama Buddha and his disciple Ananda. Both Buddha and Ananda is proud of, he's one of the well-known disciples of Gautama Buddha. Buddha was going every day for a bhiksha in the morning. While going for a bhiksha, his disciple Ananda used to follow him. Buddha being an enlightened person, and he is very young and dynamic, and he shines, his glory is seen on his face. He goes to a house and says, Bhavati Bhikshan Dehi. A lady opens the door and gives Gautama Buddha left and right. Why you are so young? What is the need for you to come and ask for food here? I will not offer food. She banged the door and sent Buddha out. Then Buddha goes to the next house. Buddha saw the reaction of Ananda on his face. Ananda was so agitated. Who is this lady? Abuses my master, my guru. Then Buddha goes to the next house. Bhavati Bhikshan Dehi. That lady of the house welcomes him with a smiling face and she offers him a food. Gautama Buddha accepted that food smilingly and he shared it with Ananda. Then in 2-3 places, Buddha was given a nice treatment, abuse from the people inside. Then afterwards, what happened? Whatever they could get, 3 alms, they had it and they were walking towards their next destination. After some point of time, Buddha had that kamandal in his hand and gave it to his disciple Ananda and told Ananda, you carry it and come. So after some point of time, Ananda was going behind his guru, Gautama Buddha, master. And after some point of time, they walked for a long distance. Perhaps Gautama Buddha must have thought, Ananda is carrying this for a long time. It must be heavy. Chalo, let me have myself carry this kamandala. Then Buddha asked Ananda, give me that kamandala. Then Ananda said, Kamandala, my kamandala, he said. The kamandala belongs to Buddha. When Buddha gave it to Ananda, he has taken it and he has owned up. He thought that the kamandala belongs to him. Then Buddha asked him, Ananda, what did you say? I said, my kamandala. Then Buddha smiled at Ananda. Oh, this is the kamandala when I had given. You have taken it as yours. So it becomes yours. In the same way, Buddha said, whenever people abuse me, I never received it. Or whenever they showered praise on me, I never received it. When I don't receive anything, whatever is given, it goes back to the person who has given it. It is not a concept of return gift. We have a concept of return gift. Especially you can see during kids' birthday celebration, we have got, especially the school, they have got a return gift concept. Here, Buddha says, I don't take anything. Whether it is a prize or it is abuse, I never take anything. It belongs to the person who gives it. It is for him to take everything. I don't have anything to receive because I am a bhikshu. I am a saint. I don't take anything. So in the same way, that is the way we should. If you get the food, okay, have it. Whatever you get, whoever gives, you accept the food and be happy. So don't get agitated because the food is the way in which you accept the food is very, very important. At the same time, who gives food is very, very important. Even though food is a medicine, when the food is given by a person, it changes the perception of your life. Bhishma was not able to stand near Dharma, he was not able to fight for Dharma because the food offered by Duryodhana changed the way in which he looked at it. He was not able to have a clear cut understanding of Dharma, even though Pidamaha, Bhishma is known as a great Pidamaha and he's a great fighter. He is an embodiment of celibacy and he is an embodiment of Dharma also. When he was asked why you fought with Duryodhana, he says that the food, I cannot say no. The food changes the people. That is why the sattvic food is very, very important. The food which we offer is very, very important. The food from whom we get is very, very important. The food, what we eat is very, very important. But the way in which we accept the food is very, very important. We take the food and be happy with whatever you have. There are people who have the habit of always complaining about food. Today, idli is not there. If idli is there, they say chutney is not there. If chutney is there, they say sambar is not there. If everything is there, they say that why it is not very hot. So don't complain. Whatever you get, you accept that food and treat it, be happy. That's what Adi Shankara says. These are the things which we can do. Even though the first 24 point steps which he has told, it may be a little bit difficult, but afterwards, whatever he says, especially the fourth verse, certain things which we can do. Before doctor tell us to do, we can do this. What he said, that first thing he said in the fourth verse, sloka, he said that hunger is a disease and eat food like a medicine. That we can easily follow. Sometimes I get tempted when the food is so tasty. I keep eating because especially roasted potatoes, fried lady's finger, those things and all, so beautiful to eat. You are completely bowled over by the tongue, the taste of the tongue. So he says that don't go in search of tasty food. This is possible for us. It may not be immediately possible. We can, even though food is tasty, you accept that food is tasty and have a little small food, and we will start step by step so that we will not get carried away by the tasty food. Because controlling the tasty food is the main thing. Afterwards, he says that you don't go in search of the food, tasty food. He says that whatever food you get is because of vidhi. Vidhi, he says that whatever you get is accepted. Vidhi in the sense that, not that in the negative sense, you are destined to get that you have this. Wherever you are, whatever you get, that only you will get. You cannot, in a desert, you cannot expect the milk. Whatever you get, you accept it. Vidhi in the sense here, you are destined to get whatever you have to get, that you have to, you got it, you accept it. Then he says that. So these things we can do. We can eat food like a medicine. Then you don't go in search of tasty food. Then he says that whatever you get, you have it. Because hunger is a disease that has to be treated properly, and food is the medicine for hunger. But you have to look upon food as only as a medicine, not as a lavish food which we have to eat. Then he says that Shidoshnadi Vishakyatam. This is a very, very important point. First, in this verse, he has spoken about the food. The food pervades through your eyes, it control, you are controlled. When the food is controlled, your tongue is controlled, your nose is controlled, your eyes are controlled. When you don't get carried away by the smell, the taste, and the beauty of the food, these three things are controlled automatically. Yeah, food has its value, no doubt about it. So, first thing he says that you control the food. Don't go after food. Whatever you get, eat it. Don't have a always desire for a tasty food. So, the verse he has said that you control the food. Don't go in search of food, tasty food. You accept the food as the food which whatever you got, you accept it. Then he says that Sidoshnam. We have the entire body is affected when you have too much of heat or too much of chillness. It is there because you cannot control the temperature, even though we have a mechanism to control the temperature at home using air conditioner or air cooler or whatever it is. Now, because everyone is using air cooler, air conditioner, everything all over the world, you have got a different problem for the entire world. You talk about green energy, solar power, green gases. So many issues are there because we have nurtured our body as demanded by the body. We have become slaves of the body, and we can't live without air conditioner, or we can't live without air cooler. We want a controlled temperature at home. But we forget that the entire world the ice is melting. He says that you look upon the chillness and the heat, we have to tolerate it. It doesn't mean that you should not cover up or anything like that. Whenever chill is there, accept it. When you have to go out, when it rains, you take an umbrella and go. You don't demand that rain should not come. Rain will come, rain has to come. That is the part of the creation that has to take place. When rain is there, water is everywhere. You get a drinking water, you got agriculture taking place, everything. All activities depend upon water. Because the chillness is there, you wear sweater and go. At the same time, don't hate anything. You learn to accept this. This is very, very important. Now, when I went out in the morning, the climate was so good. I wanted to move out. It was raining. I thought how to go about. I took an umbrella and went. I didn't demand that chillness should not be there. I have to protect myself. At the same time, I have to tolerate this, both the chillness and the heat. That is the reason if you see many places like in Delhi and all, where whenever the temperature is very high, when it reaches 45 degrees centigrade or 50 degrees centigrade, or in some places, they give coconut on the road. They cut the coconut and give because it has got that quality to control the temperature within. So he says that Tidiksha, this is in Tatuba, it is called Adishankara in other place. He says that Tidiksha, you need this. You need the temperament to accept the climate, because climate plays a major role when you go for Atma Sadhana. When you desire for Atma knowledge, when you desire knowledge, your own self-knowledge, the climatic condition plays a major role. Unless you accept it, because most of the almost all the Mahatmas are there in the mountain ranges. They lead a very simple life. Whatever they get, they eat. It is not like a modern technology where this like online classes. No, if you want to be in the midst of the Guru, in front of the Guru, learn. You go to the Guru, sit under his feet. Don't get treated by the body. You accept the body as it is. Don't get controlled by the tongue, because taste is the one which is dead against knowledge. So he says that have a equal amount. Okay, if it is chillness, okay. If it is heat, okay. Accept as it is. You have to tolerate it. Then another very important thing which he talks about is Nathu Vritha. Nathu Vritha Vakyam Samucharyadha. Vakyam. Vakyam is very, very important. Saraswati is called a Vagdevi. The walk is very, very important. The what comes out of the mouth is so sacred and important, because without the blessings of Saraswati, no words can come out of our mouth. Whatever is there, we have to speak it properly, truthfully. But Adi Shankara here says, don't unnecessarily speak useless talks, Nathu vritha vakyam. Don't talk unnecessarily, useless talks. In the modern terms, if you call it a gossip, don't talk useless talks. You go to temple, be in front of the deity, just to close your eyes and be in front of him, the deity, and pray. Don't listen to others' conversation, gossips. When we go to temple, instead of using the serene atmosphere, we get carried away by the loose talks, unnecessary talks, useless talks, because the eyes see a lot of people, ears are there to listen to everything, whatever. There is no filter mechanism. He says that you don't have a useless talk. Don't engage yourself in useless talks. In order to avoid that useless talks, you have to go for satsang. That's why satsang means where the wise people meet. Meet for what? To gain knowledge. They talk about the great masters. They talk about great knowledge there. It gives you an environment so that you will not spend your time or wasting your time talking uselessly. So the effect of satsang is Natu vritha vakyam. The impact of satsang is by being in the midst of the masters. You can see, even when you are seeing your guru, you can always see that particular 1 hour when you listen to your talk, when great masters speak, great acharyas give sermons, that 1 hour, you don't know how that 1 hour pass. No thought comes from outside. No sight is disturbing my eyes. There is no smell to disturb my nose. When I'm absorbed in that 1 hour of sermon of great acharyas, great masters, that is the greatest thing. We don't talk anything uselessly. So that is the reason why, in order to have a positive thinking, useful thinking, first thing he suggested, go to satsang. And satsang is not an immediately you will not be able to control our flow of thoughts. So here again, he gives you every time. No, these are all steps. Every time he gives you a warning, the indicator, red signal. When you are going from one place to another place, there are so many red signals are there. When you cross this, then Adi Shankara steps in. He says that no, don't unnecessarily talk. When sometime while driving, this you have got 6 lanes, 8 lanes here in US. When you are driving, somebody zoomed past you. You unnecessarily get irritated, and you just wanted to thrash him. Unnecessary. don't talk senseless things. That is the way of controlling, because the tongue has got two things. One is it controls you through taste and controls you through talks. How to control the tongue? Because tongue demands food, tongue demands taste. When you take food as a when you take bhiksha, or when you take food as a medicine, your 50% of the problem is solved. And when you control the tongue, or in the sense that when you speak less and when you stop talking useless things, your tongue is controlled. Then he has suggested another one also. After having said this, see, there are many times what happened is even highly educated people, even the great scholarly people, when the tongue twists or the words are twisted, many people we see, great leaders, they get caught when words are twisted and when you answer without any clarity. Sometimes it is better to keep quiet than to get into conversation or get trapped into a conversation. The most of the mass media which we see here is it tries to pull out words from our mouth. It is better to have limited words, limited reply. In the process, you don't get into controversies. So tongue is very, very important. Sometimes when you speak too much, you are branded as a talkative. When you talk less, because people are always there to pass any comments. When you talk more, they say you are talkative. When you talk less, they always say he is very quiet and what do you call it, withdrawing himself and all. Always there are people to talk. It doesn't mean that in order to have a good name, it doesn't mean that you should keep on talking. Yes, keep quiet. Next system is don't unnecessarily talk. Then Adi Shankara says another two important things which we can implement it in our life, day-to-day life. And this is very, very important, not only for leading a healthy life. It is very important to have a healthy mind. Next things we can see it in our next talk. Namaskaram.